Welcome to Blue Essence Water Filtration. Congratulations on purchasing your system. Today I will be guiding you through the installation of our CSFT1 and or CSFT4 whole house carbon and conditioning filtration system. This is just a guide. Use your installation instructions as well. Prior to installing your system, you need to pre-soak your carbon tank for 48 hours as stated in your instructions. Missing this step will void your warranty. These are the co-component parts that will be in the part box for a dual tank combo kit. For this installation, we will be doing a rigid pipe with CPVC connection method. These are basic component parts, glue cleaner sealants, male connectors, female connectors, 90-degree fittings, pipe shutoff valve, SharkBite 90-degree fittings for conversion to a copper pipe, and any other incidentals might be required. At first, we must install 90-degree fittings supplied in the parts package. The bypass valve was already attached to tank coming out of the shipping container. Just insert it in, push it, and hand tighten the nut. Now we will be installing the supplied hose bib adapter. One next step, we're attaching a garden hose to hose bib adapter. Just like any type of normal spray nozzle connection or anything like that on the garden. Turn water supply on and let it flow through the tank. It'll take around 40 seconds to fill the tank before it starts flowing out. Everything is settled and run until the water is clear. Then shut off your bypass valve and then turn your water source off. Now the tank is full. Shut off water supply. All right, next step in the operation is to find a proper location for location of tanks and sediment filter housing, which will be put in the center between the two tanks on floor. Oh, next process is I'm putting a sealant on threads of components. Then reinstalling them to give the seal some time to cure before assembly of the main system. Right into the bottom of the thread, and continue with wrench till it feels snug. Don't over tighten. Clean up any excess sealant. We'll now mount the bracket on top of the sediment filter housing, noting the inflow and exit flow with the positioning of the bracket. We want to come in from the left side marked inlet and the outside marked outlet. Use the screws that were provided for you. Make sure to not over tighten. Now it is time to position your sediment filter on the wall. We have now positioned our tanks in our assembly setup for available space for a location because the water supply line coming out of the wall behind the first main tank, water is going to flow through out of the wall through the tank. Now we will position the sediment housing. We'll catch any and all sediment before it goes into the water conditioning tank, which will then follow through a back feed back through the household. Now mount the sediment housing. We have pre-drilled 3 holes for our sediment filter bracket. We are using 1/4-inch Tapcon screws with washers. Make sure the bracket is level using a level. Now we are securely fastened to the wall. We now install the female adapters onto our tanks. I've already applied thread compound on threads. My female adapters have an O-ring in the bottom to seal to prevent water from coming around the threads. I will still apply thread sealant. I have already installed 3 of the 4 female adapters, keeping the 4th one for example. Thread it all the way down until I feel it. Make contact with my rubber O-ring at the bottom. Then I look inside and make a little bit of pressure on that O-ring, and that's all it takes. Clean up my mess from the leftover compound. Okay, I've now pre-cut most of my piping to fit the system. At this point, we will tap into the water source. This particular house has a water shutoff valve in the garage on a water loop. So that's water coming in and out, going back in the house. So we have to open up the pipes and then determine which direction the water flows. So this particular example is copper pipe. So I have to cut through. Now we have all the plumbing fit and glued together for the whole system. The water coming into the house, going through the new shutoff valve, going through the bypass valve, then up to the sediment filter, and down through the other bypass valve, and finally back into your house. So our next step is we're going to hook the tanks back up and install the sediment filter. We now have the tanks put back in place, hook up to the bypass valves, we've got our nuts holding our fittings in hand tight, and it's ready to accept water. But now we have to put our sediment filter in. We're now putting lubricant on the O-ring channel. To put the O-ring in, supplied with the system, put the O-ring in and slide it around, put lubricant on it, and also get them on the top of the O-ring. This is to lubricate the O-ring when it seats, so it doesn't tear. Lube installed. Drop in the filter, get it on the pin in the bottom to line it up. Once it's in the pin, there's a pin up in here that guides into the filter. Spin it on. Once you have it on, use the wrench provided and tighten snug. Do not over-tighten. It just needs to be snug to have enough pressure to create a seal. Now we're ready to charge the system. We're now turning the supply valve on to charge the water system. Slowly, you'll hear the water flow in. At the same time, we have a hose spigot open on the outside to bleed off any air that is trapped in the lines. Now we will open the bypass valve, starting on the outlet side of each tank. This will charge your conditioning tank. Still having the faucet open on the outside of the house or at a different location to bleed off air pressure. Now that the whole system is charged and we bleed off all the air pressure with a faucet or an outside spigot. Everything is closed. The system is charged with pressure. Look for any leaks or bad joints. At this point, we have no leaks. The system is up and running. Run your water for 3 to 5 minutes and you now have your Blue Essence CSFT1 or CSFT4 system completely set up. Enjoy filtered water throughout your whole home, and it will also prevent your scale buildup. If you have any questions, please contact customer support at 1-833-361-2111. Thank you, and enjoy your fresh, clean water now throughout your whole house.